yourself feeling really tired and man, just feels like you're burning the candle at both ends and you're in this perimenopause, menopause time of frame in your life? Well, I have some potential answers for you. So, I'm Dr. Lori Marvis. I'm a board certified family and lifestyle medicine physician with well over 2 decades of experience helping patients not only with different types of chronic diseases, but also this transition we call perimenopause, menopause, and going through it myself. I'm really honing in on some of the science. So some really interesting things around fatigue, right? So it's such a vague concept to grasp. And honestly, as a physician, it's one of the most, I would say, least favorite complaints that patients would bring in because, again, there's so many things that could be causing it, from very minor things to very serious life-threatening things. So when you're entering into this menopausal, perimenopausal type of situation, it even compounds the confusion and the complexity of what to do. So the way I like to focus in is, one, what's the cause of it? Two, what can you do? And some really kind of unique things that I'm going to share with you that I've done more recently, I'd say in the last year, that have really helped me with energy because I'm already exercising, I'm already eating really well, doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing. But as menopause hit, there were some funky symptoms going on. And as I started diving into research about different things, there's some interesting alternatives that you might want to try. So let's jump into it. Like I said, I like to test things out on myself and then share that with patients. And if they find it beneficial, that's even more amazing. So first of all, we understand menopause brings a host of many times unwelcome symptoms, but I'm trying to change the attitude around menopause as a time of, one, forced introspection, meaning you have to stop now and pay attention to what's going on because your body won't allow you to not pay attention. We've done so much in the first half of our lives of serving others and looking at everybody's needs and putting yours on the back burner. Well, now the life's saying, you need to slow down here, lady, and pay attention to what's going on. So let's talk about the fatigue issue, because if you can give somebody more energy, it's like giving them more money, right? This is like winning the lottery in life, because if you have more energy, you have more energy to do the things you want to do, be the person that you want to be, and tackle the problems or consequences or conflicts or challenges that life might throw at you around this time. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about what we want to be was the actual cause of it. Because first of all, we understand one is hormonal changes, right? So one of the primary causes of menopausal fatigue is the significant hormonal changes that are occurring. You're having a decrease of estrogen and progesterone, which absolutely will affect things like mood and sleep disturbances. That actually some really interesting newer research on one, the menopause brain is very different than the premenopause brain and the postmenopause brain. So this transition phase is very, really fascinating. So with that, with the reduction of estrogen, you're getting all sorts of things that are occurring in the brain. But again, energy in and of itself, estrogen seems to help regulate a few different things like your sleep cycle and mood, which can affect kind of contributing factors to fatigue. So obviously, hormonal shifts are the beginning of this, but let's dive in a little bit deeper. Let's focus on sleep disturbances, right? So many times women will have sleep disturbances. Maybe they slept really well for the first half of their lives and suddenly I don't know what's going on. This body of mine is not cooperating. I go to sleep and I don't stay asleep, or I have trouble falling asleep. So that can be a real issue, because if you have disrupted sleep, it's really hard to be able to focus the next day and be the person that you want to be present and have the energy to do things you want to do. So of course, sleep disruptions are going to cause more fatigue. So what about the sleep disruptions? You have night sweats and hot flashes. So these would be things like what we call vasomotor symptoms. And this can disrupt because of the hypothalamus being messed up again. That's part of the brain, the menopause brain. And so that can cause insufficient rest and, of course, fatigue. And then there's just someone who just described insomnia, right? You'll just lay there having difficulty sleeping, right? Again, because of these shifts that are occurring in estrogen and affecting the brain. Don't worry, we're going to get to what to do and some interesting things here in a minute. But next is psychological factors. One of the things that I've definitely heard with women is that they have more increased risk of or they've noticed more symptoms of either maybe feeling down or more anxiety, and just mood swings, right? Almost like from being fine one moment and then rage the next. So that alone can contribute to fatigue. So the distress, the psychological stress, can really cause a disruption in your quality of life. So there's absolute research showing all of that. And then finally, there's some other physical changes with health conditions, right? So physical changes in pre-existing health conditions can worsen. For example, weight gain and physical activity that comes with a few things that can happen when you have decreased estrogen, you have increased insulin resistance, you gain weight, you're probably less likely to be motivated to move if you're not feeling well and you're fatigued. So again, there's some things here that just kind of snowball, right? So you gain more weight, you get more tired, you have more sleep disruptions, and it just cycles feeds upon itself. And believe it or not, there is an interesting increased risk with early menopause with chronic fatigue syndrome. So if you've been diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, I would encourage you to speak to your doctor about, and you've had early onset of menopause, maybe speak to your doctor about intervention, meaning hormonal therapy, if it's appropriate for you, because you may see some significant relief there. So now we just kind of discussed, of course, the decline in estrogen is the igniting factor here. But again, your sleep disturbances, psychological disturbances, and physical changes all compound on the fatigue. So let's talk about what can you do. So first thing is, you guys know me, I'm a big fan of fiber and plants, right? So eating this nutrient-rich diet will not only provide this amazing balance of micro and macronutrients, but there's other things like phytoestrogens that are a part and that can compound the diet in of itself to make you feel better. And we're going to dive in a little bit to some supplements that you may or may not want to try, but certainly some things that I've tried myself and have definitely noticed a difference. So first of all, when you think about a nutrient-rich diet, it's fruits, veggies, beans, whole grains, nuts, and seeds in a wide variety, different colors, right? So think about feeding your body a rainbow, right? So you see a rainbow in the sky, it makes you happy. Rainbow foods make you happy. There you go. So try that out, number one. But there was an interesting study back in 2018 around soy lecithin. So the study found that high-dose soy lecithin, around 1,200 milligrams per day, significantly increased vigor and reduced actually diastolic blood pressure in middle-aged women complaining of fatigue. So it might be something to think about. Another thing that might be of interest for you is looking at your ferritin levels. So ferritin is the iron storage protein. So if you're below 50 and you've had fatigue or hair loss or restless leg syndrome, you might want to look into not only just checking your iron, but checking ferritin in itself. It's just a simple blood test. And if it's low, below 50, take measures to, one, figure out why it's low, especially if you're anemic and you're in this menopausal phase. Are you hemorrhaging a lot during your period? But also you may want to do a stool test to make sure there's no blood in the stool. Are you eating enough iron-rich foods? Again, start looking at other things that could be going on there. Next, of course, always talk about antioxidant-rich foods. These are things such as berries, the nuts, the dark green leafy vegetables. They combat what we call oxidative stress, right? And so that helps improve your energy levels. And yes, a Mediterranean diet is not a plant-based diet, but it's a plant-predominant diet. That has actually been shown to be linked to lower fatigue and overall better health. So number one, start feeding your body better foods and trying to remove those ultra-processed frankenfoods, the foods that pretend to be food, but they're really not. They're just chemicals disguising themselves as food. It's a bad Halloween story. Next is stay active, right? So regular physical activity is absolutely crucial. And I know it seems counterintuitive to exercise when you're fatigued or tired, but studies actually show that physical activity can boost your energy levels and improve sleep quality. Plus, it helps mood. So think about it as sleep drive. So the more you exercise in the day, the more likely you're also going to sleep better, right? Because it's increasing your ability or desire to sleep later in the day. So what type of exercise? I'm a big fan of any exercise. Movement. Really interesting research showing hitting that 10,000 step mark and decreasing risk for dementia. So that's maybe a good starting point. But if that's too much for you, just trying to do more every day, right? So move your body a little bit more than you did the day before. And that will move you in the right direction, literally. So when you think about regular, moderate to vigorous physical activity was shown in one study in 2015 with higher levels of energy and lower fatigue in postmenopausal women. But even like brisk walking, cycling, yoga, swimming, all of it can make a substantial difference. But I'm a huge fan. Try to get out there, move some weights, resistance training, building your muscle mass. That's your metabolic furnace. It makes you more insulin sensitive. It's good for your bones. Can I keep going? I could, but you guys get the point. Next is mind your sleep. Yes, I already talked about some sleep disturbances. Well, how can we get better sleep? Remember, quality of sleep is fundamental to, honestly, I think a quality of life, right? So it is just as important as diet and exercise. So if you're not focusing on getting better sleep, you're really missing the mark on how you can decrease and combat your fatigue. So it really, a few simple things that might be helpful is improving your sleep quality, like changing the routine or your environment. So making sure that you're keeping a regular sleep schedule, you're getting early morning light to start the cascade of events that will help you sleep later that night. Creating a restful environment. Is the curtains drawn? Is it cooler? Is it quiet? Do you have maybe some background noise to play if you're having some other issues? Really using some type of maybe guided imagery to rest and meditate and preparing your body for sleep and your mind for sleep. Avoiding caffeine at least 8 hours prior to going to bed. And of course, avoiding the electronics at least an hour before bed as well, because that bright light tells the brain, oh, look, it's still daytime. I guess I need to stay awake. No. Next, there is some interesting research around Rola Rosia, guys, and I've been using this for about 8 months now. And Rola Rosia has been suggested to improve energy and boost your mood. Oh my heaven, boost your mood. Bood. There you go, guys. It's slang for boosting your mood. Who knew? Rola Rosia is a bood. It's a boosting mood. Anyway, let's try it again. Basically what it does, it improves your energy because it's a natural selective estrogen receptor modulator. Fancy word for saying that it can do certain things in your body that the estrogen does, but it also competes with your natural estrogens, but doesn't cause maybe the negative impact of certain estrogens. So anyway, I could go into the science about that later. But what I have found, and I'm pretty well focused, like I'm a go get her done type person. My focus has even increased. My energy, my mood, my everything. So I take 2 capsules a day in the morning, and I feel amazing. And this can help men as well. So it might be something to consider. The research behind it is pretty fascinating. Maybe I can do a deeper dive on it, but it's Rola Rosia. And check it out. It's some good stuff. Next is practicing mindfulness and relaxation techniques, right? So I think 90% of my videos use the word mindfulness somewhere in it. It has changed my life in so many ways. From my mindfulness journey beginning, understanding what it actually was, to how to incorporate it in everyday practice, and then actually just having it just be a part of who I am is so amazing and important, but you have to start, right? So one thing that they've shown that practicing mindfulness and meditation, if you choose meditation, is noticing that stress and anxiety decreases dramatically. And we all know that when you're having depression or anxiety, you're absolutely at increased risk for fatigue. But again, the mindfulness relaxes you and it helps you be less responsive in a negative way, in a negative emotional and mental way to, life's challenges. And so what I like to do that you might like to do as well, and I've been doing this for some time, is called mindfulness walks. And I do this every morning. It's when I set my intentions for the day. I just allow nature to speak to me. I try to be still, because in stillness comes, I feel, wisdom and the right action to maybe some concerns or questions I have. And if you allow yourself the space and the grace to take care of yourself, some amazing things happen, right? So, but you have to build that into your day. And there may be tons of excuses why I don't want to do this. I don't have time to do this. Well, then you're not going to get better. If you keep doing the same thing, you can expect the same outcomes. That's just the way it is, guys. So definitely try, the mindfulness component with the meditation. Next, there are a few interesting herbal and nutritional supplements that you might want to try. I know this goes against the grain of only eat whole food plants. I'm all about that, of course, but on occasion, there's some interesting science showing, like, for example, algae omega-3s are great for anti-inflammatory. You definitely need your B12, vitamin D, and such. For certain times, other things might be helpful, but you might want to try something like herbal treatments like hops. Yes, I said hops. They contain these estrogen-like compounds, which I've talked about before, which kind of shows some interesting promises in a study in 2016 that help improve sleep and mood disturbances in menopause. Now, I haven't tried these myself, but it might be something that you might find useful. But I've certainly been investigating around the soy lecithin piece and the Rola Rosia. So those are the two that I found to be very helpful in my own. Again, I'm always trying like berberine and tried, I take turmeric and ginger and all those different things. Again, there's just some really cool components of natural herbs and spices and teas and different things that might be very, very beneficial. Hibiscus lowers blood pressure. Amla, Indian gooseberry, helps lower cholesterol, improve blood sugar. So again, these come from foods. Some are a little bit more concentrated source. You also want to be very mindful and careful. You don't need to take too much. That's where the guidance of someone who's knowledgeable in that particular area might be helpful for you. So all right. So, of course, I'm all about education. That is actually one of the 5 steps of my framework that I utilize with patients to help them understand how to move forward in their health. So if you'd like to learn more about how you can actually improve your metabolism and help you lose weight, I have a free masterclass. The link is below. It's called the 5 Steps to Master Metabolism and Lose Weight. Feel free to click on it. I'd love to see you there. And please comment below, subscribe to the channel, share this video if you think it'd be helpful for someone. But I am so excited that you're here. And again, always sending gratitude and thankfulness. I really appreciate your time. And I hope that you know that I truly mean that. So sending you love, joy, peace, and healing above all else. Because again, we all need more of that in our world today. So I'll be back next time. And thanks for watching. Bye, guys.